Hey guys, I'm Alistair, and this is the Saucony Endorphin Elite 2. So this is currently a very difficult to get hold of racing shoe from Saucony. It is their latest Race Day Elite Super shoe, and it is something really special. The ride on this thing is really unlike anything I've ever reviewed before. Now that is good and bad. I will go over all the details on what I mean by that. I'm going to keep it cryptic for now, but it is a fantastic shoe. But it won't be for everyone. The Endorphin Elite 2 has super plush, really high rebound, bouncy, fun midsole technology going on. And a lot of that is coming from the foam, not just the carbon fiber plate. So stick around because this is a super interesting shoe and I can't wait to tell you all about it. Let's start with the key specifications then. First off, it costs $275. Yes, that's a heck of a lot of money for a running shoe. But there's a lot of technology and innovation going into this, including high-end premium materials. But is it really worth that much money? Well, I will let you know by the end of this review whether I think so or not. It weighs 7.2 ounces for a size US men's 9. That's my pair. That is quite significant because that makes this shoe incredibly lightweight. It puts it on par with the Alphafly 3 from Nike and also Asics's Metaspeed Sky Paris. But not as lightweight as Nike's Vaporfly 3. The midsole, like I alluded to before, is incredibly cushioned, incredibly soft and compressible. So when you land on this, it literally does feel like you've got shock absorbers on your feet. Some people do throw out that term when it comes to running shoes, but honestly, this really does take everything out of that landing, making it much more smoother and so much more comfortable for your legs and joints. And the carbon fiber plate, which is also in the midsole here, does give the shoe a lot more response and forward propulsion. Without that plate, you probably wouldn't be going anywhere with this shoe. The outsole does have some rubber compound on it, but also some exposed areas of foam. I'll go into that in more detail shortly. And the upper is very breathable, as you can see. There's really hardly anything to it, and that's great. Allows you to regulate temperature within the shoe really nice and easily. And the top bit above the laces uses a knit material, which gives the shoe more stretch, allows for more voluminous feet. So if you do have high volume feet, then these shoes will fit you really nicely because of that. And they have a neutral support. How do they fit and feel then? Well, they're very much true to size and they're a medium width. If you're enjoying this review, please give the video a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel for more running shoe reviews just like this one. I always keep things real, genuine and honest, and hopefully my thoughts will help you decide whether or not shoes are going to be best for you and your specific needs. But if by the end of any of my reviews you're still not sure, just ask me questions about the shoe, or just let me know your very specific circumstances that you may have, and I'll get you hooked up with the best running shoes for you. Moving on to my performance review of the Endorphin Elite 2. I'm going to start where I just left off, and that's with this bouncy, crazy, ridiculous midsole, because that is definitely the standout feature for me. It's the feature that if I was blindfolded and you made me wear all these different super shoes, which you can see, they're all behind me here, it would be so easy for me to pick this shoe out just because of how that midsole feels. Now the rebound is fantastic, super cushioned, very forgiving. So what I like about this in particular is just how refreshed your feet feel after a long run, or any run in particular. It kind of feels like you haven't been on a run. It's really that incredible. I don't know what Saucony is doing with this foam, but I tell you, it is fantastic. But it's not all unicorns and dolphins. That does bring some efficiency issues to the ride, and I will go over to that in where I talk about some of the features that could be improved for the next version. That said, it's a fantastic feel. It's absolutely unique to this shoe, and I love the shoe because of it. I really like the combination of the carbon fiber plate and the forefoot rocker. Now I would like to see a bit more of a rocker at the heel, but I understand with the way this has been designed and the amount of compression that you get in this midsole, if there was a rocker, it would just get absolutely flattened anyway because of how much this compresses at the rear. And then you're really down to what's happening at the front of a shoe, which is this forefoot rocker. And that is really where the toe off and the roll happens. It is actually using speed roll technology from Saucony, which is a fancy way of saying how this shoe transitions from heel landing to toe takeoff. It's the roll and the transition of your stride. This speed roll technology in particular does perform much better for midfoot and forefoot strikers. And as you can see, it is quite a tight flex running shoe, but there's a hell of a lot of energy that gets stored up there, and that does get translated in forward propulsion. I really like the breathable upper. There's really hardly anything to it. It's super lightweight, tons of holes in there. The air just flows in and flows out. So I really like that if you are running in hot climates or on a hot day, anything like that. Then these shoes will keep your feet cool really nicely. That said, if you are running in cold conditions, your toes are going to get really cold with these shoes. Then there's a lightweight build, 7.2 ounces. That's absolutely nothing. And you really feel it, or you don't feel it. It feels like an extension of you, extension of your foot, rather than extra gear that you have to wear. And then the final thing that I really like about the Endorphin Elite 2 is the fact it is just incredibly comfortable. I've reviewed so many race day super shoes in the past, and they're not all comfortable, let me tell you. A comfortable race day shoe that actually performs really well is actually quite hard to come by. In my experience, Saucony racing or speed training shoes perform really well in general, but also are very comfortable. So I like the fact that Saucony caters to more people rather than just elite runners who want to get to the finish line as quickly as possible and are happy to suffer for it. I'm not an elite runner, but I am a huge running enthusiast, as you can imagine. And I run ultra marathons, road marathons, I do all kinds of speed training all the time. And one of the most important things for me is, of course, the running shoe technology that goes into shoes. But I need to have a comfortable shoe. So if I was running in shoes that were just making it horrible and it was super uncomfortable and I wasn't enjoying myself, then what the heck am I doing it for? So with that said, thank you Saucony for making really comfortable shoes. While still on the comfort, I like the fact that Saucony has made this upper crazy minimal, but also there is enough cushioning going into it. As you can see at the rear here, there is a nice bit of padding on the heel counter, and that acts as a nice way of locking your heel within the shoe as well. And that actually works really well, and it needs to, because there really isn't that much support in the upper at all, especially towards the heel counter. I mean, look how flexible this is. Bloop, bloop. There's nothing to it. These things just pack down to nothing. So there needs to be some functionality for locking your foot within the shoe. And actually these do a really good job for me. On to some of the things that I feel could be improved for version 3. First off then, the Saucony Endorphin Elite 2 is a strangely noisy shoe. It's not a huge, big deal breaker for me at all. And actually the faster you're moving, the less you hear that noise. But I can imagine if you are a stealthy runner, you like to sneak up on the competitors up ahead of you and you want to be able to conserve your energy whilst you're sneaking up and then bomb it past them, then you're not going to be able to do it in the Saucony Endorphin Elite 2, unfortunately. Minor issue, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention it. Next up then is the stability. This is a crazy cushioned, highly compressible midsole on the Endorphin Elite 2. So the heavier you are, or the slower you're going to be running in these shoes, the less stability you're going to have in terms of lateral roll. And that does also include if you do overpronate or supinate. If you are a neutral runner, and you have good form already, then I wouldn't worry about that at all. You're not going to notice any instability issues. And it actually does have quite a wide platform for a super shoe, which I absolutely love. And when you compare it to something like the Nike Vaporfly 3, for example, well, this is a stability running shoe compared to that. And then finally, durability. Because the outsole doesn't have rubber covered all the way across it, there are exposed sections where it's just foam. Like this white section here is exactly the same piece of foam as this. And of course that section doesn't have much grip at all or traction. It's certainly not going to have any traction in the wet, and it's not as durable as rubber. So it can snag, and I can see a couple of little snags there where it's rubbed against the tarmac. And then either side you've got some rubber sections. These black and orange sections here is rubber compound, but there's not a huge amount of grip to that. Generally speaking, super shoes don't have amazing traction anyway because they're designed to be going fast, mostly in a straight line if you're racing marathons, but I thought I should mention that. You've made it to my final verdict and whether or not it's worth $275. For most people, I'm going to say it's probably not going to be worth $275 just because of the durability of the shoe. It's a lot of money for a shoe, and you can pick up race day shoes for a little bit less than this. That said, if you aren't too worried about the price tag, you want a super fun, super bouncy, super unique cushioned race day shoe that's actually incredibly comfortable as well and fast, then I urge you to actually try this. It managed to shake up my best carbon plate race day shoes roundup on trailandgale.com. I'll put a link up there and in the description so you can go check that out. And based on performance and feel and ride and everything that this shoe brings, it has managed to make it within the top 3. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this Saucony Endorphin Elite 2 review. If you've got any questions at all, you're still not sure if this shoe is going to be for you, or you're just looking for alternatives and you're not sure where to start, let me know your circumstances in the comments down below, and I'll get you hooked up with the best running shoes for you. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.